What is up, everyone? This is your boy, the 4 Train Express. Hop on, grab a seat, and enjoy the ride because we got a good one for you today. So, getting on to whatever happened in the last few, hours, last few days, whatever it is. But the big news came last night when the Yankees reeled in their man. They got Carlos Rodon on a 6-year, $162 million deal, which also included a full no-trade clause. I am super stoked for this. I cannot believe that it finally got done. The Yankees now have their two co-aces in Cole and Rodon. Rodon will probably pitch behind Cole, and we will have that good 1-2 punch. Now this gives us one of the best rotations, if not the best rotation in baseball on paper. We will see how it turns out. But this was a signing that was much needed by the Yankees. Hal did his job. He went out. He got Rodon. He signed him to a deal. We now have our 1B, like I mentioned. This is a great piece of news that broke last night. I was actually at work when it broke, but I put out a video last night if you guys haven't seen it. And before I move on, if you guys or whoever's in here and you haven't smashed that like button, please do so. I appreciate it. It's greatly appreciated for my channel, and it also is very helpful. So I've been hearing rumors that Benintendi is the Yankees' #1 choice. I would try to stay clear of that. As much as I liked Benintendi last year, we need to make some trades. We are this close to becoming good again and actually being a legit contender. Not like last year where we, won 100 games and then couldn't beat the Astros and win a game in that series. I'm talking like if the Yankees make a big trade, we have a chance to really sneak up behind Houston and actually give us a chance to beat them. So we need to make some trades. And I don't think Benintendi or Carpenter are the answers to that. Now, with that being said, that also means if we make a trade, we need to be smart with who we trade, or who we trade for, I should say. I don't want Max Kepler. Max Kepler is never panned out. I don't want Liam Hendricks from the White Sox, nor do I want Garrett Crochet. Now, Garrett Crochet was all hyped up to be this big superstar relief pitcher who threw 102. He's not. He didn't pan out. It happens like that. Okay? So we got to remember that. And Hendricks is a disaster waiting to happen. I would prefer, if we went after anyone and made a deal for anyone, the person I would want is Brian Reynolds. I also want to see the Yankees try and go out and get a reliever, another piece of that bullpen. I would take a Gregory Soto and or a David Bednar. And yes, I do want Reynolds, Jonathan. So Reynolds is the finished product of a Jason Dominguez. I would be more than willing to give up a Dominguez to get a Brian Reynolds, being that he is a finished product of a Jason Dominguez. We can't hold on to these prospects. It's especially when we have to make roster moves so we can get Rodon, Canely, and Judge all on the 40-man. Because right now we have 43 guys on the 40-man, and we can't have that. So we need to figure out a way to make room for it. And the way to do it is by trading pieces and getting pieces back to make that room. So that's what we need to do. Michael Conforto, I'm not really so high on but I'm hearing that the Marlins are interested in Michael Conforto. Yes, I know, Aiden, we haven't seen some of these prospects yet, but we need to make it's gonna hurt to get rid of those prospects, but in order to get something good, you got to give something back. So that's the story with that. Now, the big contract, Jonathan, you're not wrong. How do we get rid of him? Well, you have two ways you can do it. You can try to find a trade partner who's willing to take those big contracts, as well as maybe attaching a prospect to him to get something, or you just cut him and eat the money. Brandon Drury, I don't think wants to come here. I haven't heard anything about him with the Yankees, so I don't think that's going to be an option. I'm hearing that the Astros are in on Benintendi, so Benintendi might not be returning. I've also been hearing that Max Kepler is the backup for the plan B for Benintendi if we don't get him. I think that's just a smokescreen. Hicks and Donaldson, last year, I don't know if you remember, Jonathan, they had a trade with Miami, but they were going to take Hicks. I don't know if they still want to do that, though. Donaldson, we may just have to bite the bullet and eat his contract this year. I hate to say it like that, but in this case, I don't think we have an option because I don't think anyone's going to want to take that contract. And I hate to say it like that, but it's true. We're not going to get Devers. I hate to say Devers. So what I've been hearing is now that the Red Sox whiffed on Xander Bogaerts since he went to San Diego for that massive deal that he signed with them. I'm hearing the Red Sox are now wanting to throw money at Devers to keep him. So that's something we got to remember. We're not going to always be able to get these big names. Okay, so even though we have the money to do it, it's upper management that may not want to do it. But this year, Hal came through. And got us the pitcher we needed. Now it's time for Cashman to go out and do what he needs to do to make a deal. But I would avoid Max Kepler at all costs. I would avoid Michael Conforto unless you absolutely have to get him because there's no one else out there. And you can't, because I think Michael Conforto, I don't exactly think Conforto is all that great. I think he's okay, but yeah, I think Michael Conforto is something to stay clear of. I wouldn't go there. Like I said, a guy like a Brian Reynolds, maybe a Jake McCarthy from Arizona might be an option to look at. Like Pete Simonetti said on NYY News TV. So that might be something to do as well. Might be someone to look at. Luis Arias didn't win the Triple Crown, Aiden. And we don't know when the Rodon press conference is because they have 43 guys on the roster. They got to make room for the roster. Even though we signed him, we still have to make room to put him on the 40-man roster. So I think it's going to be a bit before they introduce Rodon, but anything is possible. Marte's had injury history. It has a history of injuries. I wouldn't go as far as doing that. I mean, you can look at him, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't be giving up anything. I wouldn't give up too much for him because of the injuries. He does have controllable years, so that is going to drive the price up a little bit. But that would be an option to look at. But excuse me, I've been hearing that Arizona's outfielders are being looked at by Houston as well. If you're going to make a deal, you need to find a way that you get something in return that's going to be worth what you're giving up. So if you're going to trade Torres in a package, you're going to want to. Brian Cashman is known for getting guys in return and doing his best to get those pieces in return. He's known for that. He's done that. I would say if you're going to trade Torres to anybody, I would trade him to two places: Pittsburgh or Detroit. Pittsburgh, I don't think would take him because I'm not sure they really need him. But Detroit, that's a different story. Detroit, they might take him. Plus, his friends are his boy Javi Baez is over there, and they're close. So that would be a better suitor for Torres. I agree with playing the kids, but you can't always just play the kids. You also need to get those pieces that are going to help. Let me check this out, Aiden. Interesting. Huh. Good call, Aiden. So the Twins, not breaking news, but it's news. According to John Heyman and Jeff Passan, the Twins are in agreement with outfielder Joey Gallo on a one-year deal that will pay him $11 million. So Joey Gallo is headed to the Twin Cities. Yep. Jeff Passan was one of the guys who broke that. So that good call, Aiden. So I guess in order for the Yankees really to be competitive again, and help that offense, because that offense looked dead in that Astro series, is you need to get the pieces. You need to be able to trade the pieces that can get you those pieces. So that's why I said Brian Reynolds would be a perfect fit, because we also need a corner outfielder. That corner outfield spot is still vacant, and I don't know if Oswaldo Cabrera would be. I don't know if Oswaldo Cabrera would exactly be the right piece for it. I think Cabrera would probably be better suited and right, but we got Judge there. So I don't know if I would put Cabrera there. Plus, he could play other positions too. You could have him fill in at second. But yeah, Cabrera is our utility guy. So I would have to say that would probably be something I would look at doing. And getting that's why Cabrera's probably, if we trade anyone with Hicks or Donaldson, it would probably have to be a guy like Cabrera. I don't know if Volpe is going to be on the roster for spring training. We'll see. He might be. I mean, he might get an invite, but I don't know if he's actually going to be. Excuse me. I don't know if he's actually going to be. If he's actually going to make the roster or make the team after. Plus, Volpe, I think, is a couple years, a year or two away. So that's something to think about as well. But we need that corner outfield spot to get back to that. Because right now we're stuck with Hicks in left, and I don't want Hicks in left. I don't want to see Hicks anywhere near the outfield next year. So we need to find that piece. So that's why Brian Reynolds would be the ideal choice to go after him. And Bader, that's a good point, Texas. Bader does make Oswaldo better. But mind you, Bader is the best defensive center fielder in baseball. We saw a little bit of that last year when he came over from St. Louis in that trade that we made with them. I think Bader is going to be just fine, but I would lock him up ASAP because he is a free agent after next season, and I don't want to lose Bader, especially since he was so good for us last year. And he proved that he could play in New York, and he was really good in the playoffs. So that's something to think about as well. Let's see. Who? Oh, so getting back to the Rodon thing. Rodon is going to push Garrett Cole. That gives Garrett Cole that 1B. So it's that co-ace thing. So you guys remember in Houston, when he had Verlander, when it was Verlander, Cole, Verlander, Cole was one of the most unhittable pitchers in baseball next to Jacob deGrom. So he needs that. He needed that co-ace to go with him. So what's going on, Ola? Salute, salute, salute. So, yeah. So, having Rodon, or Rodon, I think it is, whatever it is, but having Rodon gives Garrett Cole that person to push him because that's what he needs. He hasn't had that the first couple of years since being with us. He needs that one other pitcher to push him to get him to where he needs to be at. Because that's when he's at his best. So what's up, Dev? So guys, if you haven't smashed that like button, please do. Please smash that like button. It's very helpful to the channel and so appreciated. So I don't know if the kids are playing winter ball, Texas. I couldn't answer that for you. I can look into it, find out, but if I find something about it, I'll let you know. But predictions for blockbusters, I still think the Yankees are going to pull off a deal for Bednar and Reynolds. I don't see the Yankees being done. I still think they need to, because like I said, they still need that corner outfielder. So that's the first thing. Second thing is they need another reliever. So you can kill two birds with one stone by getting Bednar and Reynolds from Pittsburgh. Now, this trade is going to be a 3-team deal. That's what I think. It's going to – now everyone is saying, oh, well, the likelihood of Reynolds coming to the Yankees is slim to none. I think that's just a smokescreen to get, more people to try to bid in on him. But I think the 3-team deal is going to be with Pittsburgh, the Yankees, and either Arizona, Miami, or Minnesota. But let me bring in my guest, Chris the Flash. Chris, how you doing, bud?
What's up, Mike? What's up, Chad?
What's going on? How you doing?
Good, good. What about you?
So first off, how are all of you feeling about this Rodon signing? Because I didn't ask you all that before, but how are you guys feeling about that? Because I'm feeling pretty stoked about that, knowing that we have that co-ace to back up Garrett Cole. How are you feeling about that, Chris?
shit, I'm feeling good, bro. You know, I mean, having that second ace for Cole. I mean, that's what we wanted.
That's what we
How
wanted, and
put
that's what
the
we got.
yeah, how put the money where his mouth was. Now Cash got to step it up.
Yep. I'll tell you what, though, that was a steal. Think about that. He was
Yeah.
asking for what, 210 million over 7, and we got him for
Mm-hmm.
6 for 162 with a full no trade clause. Yeah, I'll take that any day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Oh yeah, that
great deal.
was
That's an average annual value of, I think it's like 27.5 million a year or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're paying less than what he actually wanted. So I'll take that. So
So
I think that's the move that really says that we are back, that we are looking to win and win now. But now we got to make that deal or that trade to put us over the edge.
yeah, you know what I was thinking? Like everybody's talking about this big move. Oh, look who here!
What's up, Kev?
Gentlemen, salute, gentlemen. Good
Salute.
afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you
How are
today?
What's up?
you?
What's up?
I'm here with Mike and the Mad Dog on the 4 Chain Express.
How are you liking that Rodon move there, Kev?
We mentioned it yesterday. It's the Yankees now are dealing in now with the Rodon move. Now they have a plethora of strength, which is the
Yes.
pitching. Starting pitching, there's without barring trades as of right now on the 16th day of December, they're 7 deep.
Yes. So they're not done. I don't think they're anywhere near done. I think they still are going to make another move. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think that the move that they make is a deal for Bednar and Reynolds and a 3-team deal with the Pirates, the Yankees, and either Arizona, Minnesota, or Miami as the third team.
Before I don't think they're not going to do any moves until they cut payroll. They're 200
Mm-hmm.
right now with that deal. They're $290 million. They're $3 million away from the third tier of the Steve Cohen tax, which they do not want to be in. So before they do any moves or any placating to adding to the payroll, remember they still got to go through arbitration. They got to take care of their own a couple players. So I don't think that's a area of where Hal Steinbrenner wants to go. But I got something for that. Let me throw this out there to yourself, to all the listeners. I was gonna save it on my program, but we're family, so let's bring it there. If you go back to the Florida Marlins, and Miami Marlins, whatever you want to call them, salute, hola perrito, salute everyone in the chat. I hope you guys are doing well. You go back to the Marlins and say, listen, you're on the hook still. You still have to pay $30 million to Giancarlo Stanton over the length of the contract. I think it's for the next 3 years or so, 10 million. If we could absorb for the next 3 years those 30 million. If for this year, upcoming year, you take $21 million off of our salary, and you take back a player to be named for a player to be named later, you take back Josh Donaldson. Let him play out there. You move $21 million. Now you're $21 million under the luxury of the third tier threshold, and you worry about that down the line with Stanton, that 30 million for that stretch pavilion, but it keeps you under that third tier, and you get Donaldson out of here. Now you could start cooking with gas, either Benintendi, back to the Pirates for Bernard, and you leave some money for your arbitration coming up.
Yeah, I like that. That is a very interesting way to do things, and I actually think that is a smart way of doing things because that does cut payroll, like you said. Um, so I've been hearing the Yankees are in on Benintendi, but they won't go to that 5th year with him. That's what I'm hearing. What are you guys hearing about this?
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't give him that 100 million either. He's you're not lowballing him, but I understand the when Yoshida and Nemo the way they got paid. It's just yeah, Red Sox overpaid, and you know the Mets did what we did with Judge. Like you had to bring back your own. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't give him that 5th year over 100 million.
I wouldn't either. Kev?
All right, so you're looking at $20 million for Benintendi. This is what the Yankees are doing, and it's shown us with Rendon. They patient. They want to wait that
Mm-hmm.
waiting game. Now you don't want to be too patient because there's a saying, if you bend too much, you're gonna see your rear end. And the Yankees are patiently. It worked out with Rendon. The market started fizzling. They got him at once. They didn't have to pay $200 million. Now for Benintendi, I see that a chat said that he signed with the White Sox. I
Yes,
haven't
he
seen
did.
him, so he's gone off the board then.
5 years, 75 million.
What? See,
5 for 75.
5 for 75. He'll be guaranteed 75 million on the contract. ESPN's Jesse Rogers reported it via Twitter, and Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic also reported it. And it's
So
on
he's
MLB
off the board.
Trade Rumors. So Benintendi is now a White Sox.
Okay, that's a good deal. That's a pretty good deal for.
That's a
Benintendi.
very good deal.
Should the Yankees have matched that? Probably. Like I said, in order for them to even make those moves, and I'm guaranteed it's going to come out later, that they needed to get under that third tier. They're only $3 million away, and I think that's scaring the living bejesus out of the Yankee organization to go over there. So,
Yeah. It's a great deal for the White Sox. They're getting him on the cheap. They're not really overpaying for him. He's coming off a wrist injury. So it's a good deal for both sides. He gets his money. He gets paid. White Sox get their outfielder. Now, I've also heard, and I don't know if you two have heard this, that Max Kepler was a plan B if Andrew Benintendi went elsewhere. I'm not about Max Kepler.
No, I don't want
So
to. He reminds me of Hicks.
Yeah, so we're gonna make another trade with the Twins again this offseason, back-to-back years with the trade, unless if they want Hicks back.
Before we move on any further, I just want to bring in a special guest, Uncle Tats from Pinstripe Chronicles. Tats, how you doing?
Oh. Hit us with that John Cena.
Yeah.
Tats, how you doing, man?
I had to sneak away on my break. Like, yeah. But
no worries.
How's everybody?
Doing well.
Good,
doing
man.
well.
Good. How you feeling about that Rodon deal?
I think it was the right move. I thought the right move was either going to be Rodon or Benny, and obviously the news just came through a few minutes ago about him going to the White Sox for a 5-year deal, which is it's good. Good for him. He wanted to go. We all kept saying the Midwest. That's where he ended up going. So good for him, and I'm glad that we were able to get Rodon to solidify that rotation with Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. That Rodon signing was a must. We needed it. We needed that backup for Cole. If Chris had pointed this out last time he was on my channel, was in Houston, the reason why Cole was so good was because he had that co-ace with him to push him, and that's what he needed. And we didn't have that here. And now we got Rodon, and now that he has that co-ace, it's going to push him, and he's going to be one of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball again. I can promise you that.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely going to elevate Cole. I also one of the other guys that I think it's really going to help going into the season is Severino.
Mm-hmm.
Not having that pressure, having to carry a rotation. I think he's going to be one of the most solid threes that the game has seen in the last few years.
Yes.
Not only
Severino. Do you think this is one of the best rotations you've seen out of the Yankees in years, with Rodon added?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it.
Chris,
not only Severino, I wanted to throw in there Montas. No expectation for Montas whatsoever, and he's going off of going to a free agent contract. Nothing motivates a player more when they're trying to get that generational bag. And I think no pressure for fifth starter, he's gonna excel.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah. No. I agree. Like I think not only it helps Cole, I think it helps the other three pitchers tremendously. Like I think all that stress they had from last year, I think it's gone.
Yep. Absolutely. I didn't think of that, Kev. That's a really interesting point that you brought up with Montas, because it almost seemed like he was so pressured to excel as that number two that it threw him completely off his game. But now that we have Rodon, that takes all that pressure off. So I never thought of it like that. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, and also, if we're going to talk about the lack of pressure, it's also going to help Cortez. So I just really think it's going to really just put the whole pitching staff at ease, and if they're able to get the innings that's expected of them, especially with the lack of pressure, it's also going to help the bullpen, because it's gonna be able to bridge into that part of the game a lot easier.
I'm glad you mentioned the bullpen. I really like the addition of Canely, because now you have another right-hander who throws the changeup to neutralize the lefties, especially when the left-handers, you have a 3-batter minimum, between Efros and Canely. You really don't, and Wandy Peralta, that's your lefty specialist if you really want to think about that when the lineup turns or when they want to counteract. So the Yankees, their depth in not just starting pitching, in the bullpen, it's going to be interesting who's going to be the man out. I was already thinking about it and going nuts, because we don't know the full who makes the team, who doesn't. But just from Efros, from Trevino, from Canely to Holmes to Peralta, maybe they bring back a Chad Green. Don't forget Ron Mariachio. So wow, they're that's exciting. There, Yankees look like they want to win the American League East on their arms.
Michael King, when he comes off of that injury.
Yeah.
Michael King.
I'll say this:
our bullpen has been completely revamped just by that one signing of Tommy Canely.
Yep.
I already know who's the odd man out, and I feel bad for him. But out of everybody that's pitched, I think Lucas Licky. I think he's out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It kills me to say that, but
it's true.
That's what sucks, because he was a reliable arm for a while, but you saw wasn't able to elevate himself to pick up as the were falling off. He was kind of struggling. He was straining through his innings. So I really, as sad as it is to hear, to watch, he is definitely the odd man out.
Mm-hmm.
With this rotation, it makes you wonder what their next move is going to be for Herman. Is he going to be, or is he going to get traded because he's just, there's no room for him, because we have a plethora of bullpen arms, good rotation. Does he just get kind of stuck? Does he get left by the wayside?
Yeah.
And the way they didn't use him in the postseason, they didn't go to him at all. So it seems like he's an odd man out. Good point on that one.
So here's a little food for thought. Let's say the Yankees do make a trade. Would you package Licky in a deal with, a couple of prospects to get that corner outfielder, so then you're not digging too deep into your farm? Or would you put in Torres with that package?
Oh, I would save the bullet on Torres for really an eminent need if you're not able to get a deal done. I think if you're able to package, because everybody's always looking for arms, if you're able to package Licky with some of the prospects to maybe get a Kepler, one of that level outfielders, I think that's the route that they should go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that. Chris?
Nah, you can go, Kev.
Okay,
I was just thinking about something.
I'm thinking about something myself.
Yeah. If I'm gonna trade Torres, he's going to like a 3-team deal type trade. Like I was thinking, everybody keeps making this big deal about this big move. What if the big move was try to get somebody from Miami and try to get somebody from the Pirates?
That's interesting.
Pirates would really be Reynolds, and I don't think he's a factor point in the season. I don't think the Pirates are going to. I think the Pirates, what their move is going to be, even though he wants out, I think the Pirates, they're going to hold off until the deadline and really try to hit off a team and just get them for a king's ransom.
Like the Nationals did with Soto.
Yeah, but Reynolds is not Soto.
Thank you. Somebody finally said it. Thank you.
He's not. He's not Soto at all in any way, shape, or form. But that's what they're going to be asking for.
Mm-hmm.
No, and if you're going to give up a king's ransom for Reynolds, why don't you just go after Soto and not have the pressures of bringing, not have the headache of, what do we do if we don't get Judge? You would have already had your backup. Yeah. So, the Yankees put themselves in the corner for there. But I would think Reynolds, I think the Pirates are really, as much as Reynolds wants out, I don't see that. I don't see the move, trade deadline move.
Yeah.
You might be right.
Kev?
You might be right. You might be right because that move, like you said, why would the Pirates wave the white flag here? They could wait at the trading deadline. The team will overpay because they're desperate. They lost the corner outfielder. They will give up what they need. Absolutely, that's a good bargaining chip there. Although usually they say the off seasons where you can make better moves, but I don't think so. Like we saw Soto, and I'm trying to think of the left fielder, and the more and more I'm trying to grasp my mind here. I think it's going to be Brett Bentley from the former Astro. I think they're going to finally get him here, maybe on a 2-year, 1-year deal. It kind of seemed like if Benintendi signed for that amount of money, that means I guarantee Bentley's going to make just a little bit less, especially on the injuries, because it was $15 million. I could see Bentley probably 12, 11, or even Michael Conforto. Conforto, no way is going to get $15 million a year.
No,
I'd rather him. I'm like, because age, I understand he hasn't been playing, but his age, and he proved himself in New York before. So if I had to choose between him or Brentley, I'm choosing him.
I'm depending on the length though, because if it's a short-term deal, I'm going Brentley because you got, if you don't trade Dominguez, you have Dominguez coming up that you could plug in the outfield for until he's ready. You can probably Brentley for the next 1 or 2 years, depending what the Yankees see. Well, maybe Conforto comes on a 1-year deal to prove it in New York that he's healthy. Who knows?
Yeah, you could.
I think if there's going to be a caliber like a Torres or anybody like that from our team to another, I think the one thing that they can entice a team this offseason would be to say, all right, we still have a lot of hope and promise and faith in Torres. If you want to play it like that, you're going to have to take, one of our bad contracts with it, or there's no deal. And that would be Donaldson. You could throw one of those guys in saying, hey, we're going to give you this player, but you got to take one of these guys along with them.
Right.
Well, I was about to say, me and Kevin was talking about this, and why not trade our strength for somebody else's strength? And that's the D-backs. They got too many outfielders. And we got too many infielders. So why not try to trade with them? I mean, it seemed like they want to trade one of the outfielders anyway.
Yeah, I know McCarthy's been the hot name, and
I would go for McCarthy if it were me. Here's something interesting. I don't know if you saw Pete Menendez's thing, but he put out Alec Thomas. But I don't think they're going to trade Alec Thomas.
No, he's too young. That's what I want too, but he's too young.
So I think McCarthy would be the way to go.
Yeah, Tomas is too young. Just like people want to use Sweeney as a name. Trey Sweeney, he doesn't have he's not even developed really yet. So he's one of those guys that you really, unless that's the deal breaker for really a key player, you keep that card in your pocket.
Yeah. So I mean, that's interesting because that is a good card to keep in your pocket. Now, I was thinking over the course of the last few days, especially last night once I heard the Rodon signing, but the Yankees actually have, if you think about it, maybe in a corner, but they have the best hand to play because of now the options that they've opened themselves up to by signing Rodon. Because now they have options on who they can trade for and who they may want to trade for.
Well, I think what the Yankees' advantage is they don't have a urgent need for left field. They really don't. They need to upgrade the position, but they already have a serviceable player in Cabrera that handles left field very well. Us as fans, we would like to see him being able to kind of bounce around positions a little bit, and be that everyday utility guy like a LeMahieu was supposed to be. So the Yankees aren't in a desperate need to make a move.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why I don't think That's why I don't think they're gonna. That's why they didn't really go match Benintendi's offer, and they're gonna
Yeah.
um throw out their numbers to the left fielders because not for nothing, the If you're telling me out there there's a switch hitting center field that you can move him to left field, we all say let's sign him. And I know I hate to say it, but he's on our team. And and Hicks. I know we can't stand him. Don't get me wrong, but they already invested money in him. You could put him part time, like you said, Cabrera. We want him a jack of all trade who can move him around. Spell Judge at right field. Play the middle infield, move him around, and move in for Hicks to play there and as well. And let's face it, they're gonna try in the beginning, at least after to play Stanton in left field at times. So I think the Yankees are going to remember, and I also mentioned before you came on, Chats, the Yankees are $3 million away from the third tier of the luxury tax. If they don't get these bad contracts off or shed the millions, 21 from Donaldson or Hicks, I could see them staying pat and just going with the youth there because the high does not want to pay that third tier tax.
But that
I wanted to.
do we want to take the chance on the youth? Are we ready to accept that might be the route they go? Some fans are, some fans aren't.
Correct.
I was wondering too because Kevin brought this up. Besides left field, what other position we need to upgrade? And there's only one because we keep wanting to trade them, and I think it's third. What if they decide? Okay, we got enough people to play left field. What if we say let's try to trade for a better third baseman?
So then I would pose this question: what third baseman would you try to go after? Because you're not getting Brian Hayes off of Pittsburgh.
No.
No.
So what third baseman would you want?
Be Cabrera, it would stay in house.
It's got to stay in house, especially when you could move if Peraza or Volpe stays on there. Remember, IKF could slide over to third at time with Cabrera, and you. But let's face it, as much as Donaldson stunk hitting, his glove was not the problem.
Nope.
No,
I don't think there'll be a lot of there's no dispute to that. But moving IKF to third, where it's his more natural position, that opens it up for the Yankees to use Peraza everyday shortstop, which we already saw. He can handle that position with no problem. You saw it in that first play that he was in his first postseason game. Flawless play.
Flawless.
And for him to come in off the bench like that just shows how ready and mentally able he is to handle the pressures of being a New York shortstop.
So then if you're gonna move IKF to third, let's just go run with Kev's idea. Move IKF to third. What do you do about your shortstop position? Because you're not going to put Torres there. He can't play shortstop. We know that was a disaster of an experiment. So what do you do? You got Peraza. Then
you got Peraza.
Because you got to also think of if Peraza doesn't pan out, now what do you do? You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that as well.
Well, they was talking about Volpe's going to be ready for the second half of the season. So Torres getting traded. I don't care what nobody said. Torres is getting traded because come to find out, DJ don't need surgery. So what they're doing is they're hoping DJ that health keeps getting better and better. And I think they're gonna trade Torres, keep DJ at second, and let Volpe develop where he needs to develop. And then then we're gonna have two super utility players when it comes to DJ and Cabrera. That's what I feel like was gonna happen. And then you could switch Peraza and Volpe if you feel more comfortable with Volpe at short.
And interesting. DJ LeMahieu plays third base as well. He plays it well too. Maybe that's going to bring some relief on his toe where he doesn't have to the corner infield, the corner at third, and you could either move IKF to do at second, or you Cabrera. They have players who could play multiple positions. That's what they wanted. They like that, and that's why they're going for. So I think the roster, the only thing that's gonna frustrate us if they don't hit, if they're not coming out, and especially if the big guys, when I don't expect 62 home runs from Aaron Judge. I'm hoping he hits 75, but I'm just I don't know if he's going to be able to repeat that. So we're going to get frustrated as fans because they're not hitting the home runs, they're not having that season, and hopefully the other players around them, the young ones, they could come up to and play to expectations or above or surprisingly, because we're going to get frustrated with the Yankees offense, I think, this season coming up. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'm wrong.
We need to play that small ball like we did in the first half of last season, where we were just going contact. And when the home run came, great, it came. But we were playing that contact ball, and we have to have the contact hitters stop trying to swing for the fences.
Case in point, Torres.
You already have a lot of that. Contact hitters, with LeMahieu and Cabrera, Torres for the most part. He hasn't really been that power guy from that juice ball year. Some of the other players like Bader is a big big part of that with the contact hitting. It's really when you only have your power hitters as Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton, the other guys in the lineup are trying to overcompensate to help them out when they're in that power slump. So if you're able to get another power bat, I think that'll slide a lot of those other hitters back into their comfort zone.
All right.
Yeah. So then
I wanted
power
to say
bat.
this.
Well, that's why left field should be Conforto. I think he would be that other power, that power lefty that would really do so well at Yankee Stadium. And you can get him on a cheap and stay, and really not go into that third threshold.
And not only that, Conforto has played center field. I'm not saying he's going to play center field. And Bader has a history, might have got a history of getting injured. Let's say, remember, April's going to be cold, hamstring issues. Hopefully not. But do we really want our 9-year, $365 million investment back at center field for a length of a time? Not really. So Conforto, you could play him at times in center field, even if the center fielder goes down. That's why Hicks, as a fourth outfielder, believe it or not, really is important to keep, and with Cabrera as well. So, and the Yankees they just need that right player to fit. And I'm agreeing with you, Tats. It's Conforto, to be honest with you. It's Conforto that makes sense. Played in New York, fits a need with power. Also, there is no shift this year. So a lot of left-handers are going to get more base hits and the averages are going to go higher. And the guy who's going to be on a prove-it deal, maybe a 1-year deal with an option for a second, I think is a win-win situation for the Yankees. It's not going to probably cost maybe $10 million for the one season. Look, Syndergaard got $13 million, and we thought Syndergaard had the slider of doom. I know they're two different positions, but he was highly touted, and Conforto thought as well, and he, with the injury, prove it. I think that's a good way for the Yankees to get. I'll be excited if that happens.
Yeah, because even if Bader stays healthy, at least you have Conforto. At least give Bader a day off.
Exactly.
Especially in the cold months. Especially with that plantar fasciitis.
Exactly.
I was thinking this too. Like what helped Judge so much too? Boom. I don't know if you listen to this, Boom. He needs to be in the 3-hole. Stop putting him at the 2.
We'll have plenty of time to bash him on that, of course. Absolutely, man. But also you have balance. Lefty, righty, lefty. You bring another lefty in there, to sandwich with Rizzo, and you could push Donaldson further down the lineup where you don't need that pressure from him. And maybe he reverts to something in between that stinker and what he was an MVP, something in between, a happy medium. And you know what? Final year, you did decent. Okay. You know what? Party gift. All right, see you later. You were serviceable. Goodbye. No. We're hoping. We're just a hope.
Yeah.
So John Heyman reported that the Marlins are interested in Michael Conforto. So if they want Conforto, they kind of need to pick it up a little bit and start moving with the purpose to try to, sign him, because now we're hearing that the Marlins are interested. And if you're trying to get that, extra power bat like Tats was saying, you need to jump on it now.
Yeah, no, I don't think they can hold off on. If they're going to address the left field, they got to do it quickly because other teams are going to start recognizing what the Yankees' needs are, and they're going to start taking players off the table. Just like every time we were interested in a player, all of a sudden Houston was interested at the same time. Trying to kind of block us from getting players or drive up the price on us. So as soon as we heard that they were interested in Rizzo, bam, we got it done. When they were here and they were interested in Benintendi, all of a sudden the talks of us getting Benny intensified throughout all of our chats. So it's as long as we just need to prevent the Astros from getting better, and everybody's trying to hold us back at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. But the Yankees did get better with that signing.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
That was the Yankees saying, "Hey, you guys got Turner, you guys got Correa, you got this, you got that. Well, guess what? Now we got one of our own. So here's our answer to all of you guys. We needed the pitching, now we got it. Because now, with Rodon off the board, you now see the pitching market is very thin. It used to be like this, and now it's like this. And now teams like Minnesota, who were interested in Rodon, now they need to go find another channel to go because we took the last big name off the board.
Yeah, we got to continue to force every other team to pivot, not pivot because of what other people are doing, because that's been a mistake from Cashman in the last few years. Don't pivot to somebody else's move. Make them pivot for you. Make them go. Crap, here they're back.
I said it once, and I said it's we're the New York Yankees. We set the bar. Everyone else has to come up to the bar, and I hated that we're playing to the bar or driving down the level. We're not the Rays. We don't have to be cute. Look at what the Red Sox are going through. They're going through hell right now with the general manager. They brought him here because he was a Rays, a general, guy, and he's going to bring the analytics and all the number crunching. And look at them now. They can't stand the guy. They want him out of Boston. So Heim Bloom. So you gotta set the bar. You're the big bad Yankees. You won the way you won. You go get the better players. You could develop them. You could scout them. You get the better scouts, and you spend money. You don't try to nickel and dime play the Rays or the Oakland Athletics teams. They haven't won UGATs. They haven't won. When is the last time these teams that analytics win the World Series? Nothing.
Yeah, we're not the A's who have a $50 million payroll. We're the Yankees with the $293 million payroll. We have the money. And Texas brought up a good point, just to revert back to what you were saying about Judge hitting 3, Chris. We want Judge hitting with guys on base. Because that's why he's a power hitter. That's why he's a number 3 hitter or a number 4 hitter.
That's why you
not that number 2 hitter.
Yeah, that's why when Chris said put him in a 3 hole, that sets it up perfectly. Healthy LeMahieu, and you have LeMahieu, Bader, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, like somewhere in that order with those 5 guys. That is if you have Judge hitting 3 or 4, and you have the right pieces in front of him, that's also why you also need a very important number 9 hitter as well. It's not just your 1, 2, 3. That 9th hitter.
Well, that's what Cabrera could be. Cabrera could be that 9-hole hitter.
Exactly. Or a Peraza. That's a contact hitter. Even in IKF, let's not discount.
Exactly.
He didn't have one. He gave us a batting average. And Rob on my channel, one of my co-hosts, brought it up all year. He played the back of his baseball card. Just because he came to the Yankees, he wasn't going to catch lightning in a bottle like Urshela. I think that was false hope. He played to what he was expected to perform as when they signed him. But he did make a lot of contact. He wasn't a swing and miss type hitter. So I think he would also be very beneficial in a 9 spot.
And also no shift again. Everyone has to be on the infield, no one on the outfield grass. And IKF, like you said, play to his contact. I said it, if we were mentioning over with Chris, if we were to do a traditional lineup, IKF is a number 2 hitter. Prototypical number 2 hitter.
Yep.
And I'll say this too, like, look at what happened when we put him at 3rd. He felt more comfortable, then he started showing the power.
And don't discount his speed on the bases either.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
He could go from first. They need guys like that, first to third guys. The
Him?
base hit,
Yeah.
first to third guys.
I was just going to say him and Bader both have speed. And if
Yeah.
you remember in the playoffs, Bader was stealing bases like it was no one's business.
Exactly.
He's like, "You're not going to pay attention to me? Cool. Got it. I'm gone. See ya."
Well, that's where Bader kind of stole our hearts a little bit. Was when the postseason showed up, so did he. And he got aggressive.
Yes.
He was a very aggressive player, but he was smart. He was reading the pitching. You know, he's setting the bat spot. He was studying the delivery. He's watching of how the first base. Like he was really. I don't remember the last time I saw somebody that focused on the base pass for the Yankees, because we run into a lot of outs, and Bader kind of was that breath of fresh air in the postseason and say, you know what?
Yeah. I still don't like the kid, but he still works good. That's a joke
He
I
did
have. That's a running joke that I have with on my channel, because I was a big. I want to explain real quick. I was a big Montgomery fan
So
because
was
I like the lefty in Yankee Stadium. So I was upset because he didn't play for a month. So like, what the hell we traded? So when he came up, I kept with that. He kept getting successful every time I was being the heel and saying, I don't like the kid, but he's okay. He did all right today. So I kept that rolling. But he's been, believe me, he's won me over to a degree that he's good. I just got to see him healthy now.
Yeah, no,
You
the
know,
post-
his IQ for base running. You know who it reminds me of, because every time I watched him, it was that play against Philly in the World Series is Johnny Damon. You remember?
Yes.
You remember nobody covered for third, and he
Yes.
said, "Oh, nobody not coming for third. I'm gonna take second and third."
Mhm.
Yep.
very good comparison.
That's a great comparison. I mean, Harrison Bader did what in the playoffs what Judge failed to do in the playoffs, which was make contact and put the ball in play and not swing for the fences and drive in the runs that we needed.
And he got the home runs doing that.
And he got the home runs. And I hate to say it like that because I love Judge and I'm happy Judge is back. But Bader did what Judge failed to do.
Yeah, and that's why I get very defensive when everyone's like, that we got to trade Stanton, and but yeah, what is he doing for us? Well, if you look at his postseason numbers compared to Judge's, Stanton's been the X factor in our postseason runs.
Absolutely. Night and day. That's why they're certain players were called big money game players. That's the way it is. Yeah, and I think hopefully Bader is one of them. I hope Bader is a big money postseason type of player along with Stanton. Then we got something cooking.
It also could be that this might be the Bader that we're going to get when he's healthy. So we might have him in the same mindset to start the season. And if that's the case, put him in leadoff and just let him set the table for everybody.
You're absolutely correct. The only thing that concerned me, but it's just a half a season, couple of games or the month of September. He did swing and miss a lot, but who hasn't on this team?
Well, that's just baseball now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But think about it, though, for a second. Bader, when he was with St. Louis, got that postseason experience because he was with them during their postseason runs. So he has that experience, which also is very important when you're in the playoffs. You need guys with that experience. And that's what Bader brought. And that was a nice breath of fresh air as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there because that to a fan or to Yankee fans is very important, is who's got that experience. And Bader brought that experience, and he showed that he had the experience.
Indeed.
Good. Postseason experience on any level is a very big factor. It doesn't matter what you did during the regular season. When you have those players that can step up in the postseason, those are the guys that you want to hold on to end your drought. We loved Nick Swisher. We loved Teixeira. They were big offensive parts of why we made those runs that we were able to do. But why did we turn on them? Because they couldn't perform in October. I'd rather have the October superstar than the April superstar.
Yes.
Right. Just one name that comes to you thought about. You knew when October came around, you were gonna get at least a 3-run home run. You were gonna get a dramatic home run, Scott Brosius.
Yeah.
Yes.
you knew you were going to get that dramatic with him. You knew guys were going to perform, will come up. Of course, you could go. The low hanging fruit is Derek Jeter, of course, because he just did it at all moment. But the whole collective unit, from Paul O'Neill's, even Paul O'Neill missing that wall in Cleveland in '97, clutch, and then Bernie Williams, they all were there, one for all, one for one. And if you look at their regular season, they never were in the top MVP. No, I don't think the Yankees, when they won the dynasty, had any player in the MVP voting. They were just a collective of guys who, like Mariano Duncan said, we win today, we play today, we win today, and that's it. That's what they kept doing. That's what we want.
Yeah, and that's the mindset. This collective group of players, they need to have that mindset. They need, that's where the Yankees need to go old school.
Yes.
Play today, win today. And tomorrow doesn't matter. And that's what we saw from Boone in the beginning of the year. He was managing for that game. He wasn't looking 2 series ahead like he had in previous years. And it was you saw understanding the difference. And then, Cashman took his toys back and didn't let Boone play anymore.
I think the first injury of Green, I think, spooked him. When Green went down with the Tommy John, they were like, "Oh, we need to rest players," because they were in a collision course or a play, like you said. Let Boone manage the way he wanted, or kind of felt like Boone had more of a thumbprint of the way they played. And then once the injury started compiling, Dan Cash was like, "Whoa! I'm gonna hold you back, Buckaroo, because you're injuring players. We need to rest. We need to baby coddle and watch this there." And that's when we had that slide. It led to them sliding in August, and a little bit in the warning signs were there in July, but we saw the slide there. I think it was because of that. They were trying to overthink, like you said, instead of playing for today, they were trying to think 3-4 days ahead and not worrying about the moment. And I think that caught up to them. And I think hopefully they allow him to manage the way he managed in the first half of the season. That's what we would like to see.
And that incident with Josh Donaldson didn't help neither. That killed the whole mojo of the team.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Donald, that's why he is the odd man out, because he's just we don't need that toxicity right now.
No.
Yes, he's great defensively, but with the bat, he's a liability.
Yeah. Hicks may just he's just lazy. But he is still he's for the team. He just doesn't care anymore. So Donald's start trouble with everybody.
I think I was giving him. I mentioned on my pro, I was giving him kind of a pass. He had, he just became a father. He just became a father. Fatherhood, getting used to it, the lack of sleep, whatever the case is. Maybe something behind personally, what it was, wife difficult pregnancy, whatever. It's not putting up a bucket of excuse, but I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, he just didn't know how to transition from a major league ball player to a father, husband, all that shenanigans, and maybe that just hit him like a ton of bricks. And maybe it seemed like he didn't care because he was just focused on his wife and family, because, oh my God, new dad, and maybe that I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt with the last season, but he's on thin ice.
No, I wanted to go ahead, Tats.
Real quick, when with the whole lazy thing, it's more, that Derek Jeter game. It's that's cemented in the brain. It's just hard to you can't do, especially when you're the player that was being honored that day. You can't get stuck having a picture taken with your head down in the ball still play. We don't forget stuff like that,
right? Especially like the bubble gum in a postseason at first, covering first base. You're blowing a bubble in the ball, all the pain.
This just broke. The Red Sox designated Eric Hosmer for assignment.
I kind of figured that was going to happen.
Yeah.
They're letting a lot of players go.
What is their plan?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know what Hein Bloom is doing in that organization.
No, then the other player that they were
Jeter Downs got released.
Yeah. It's like, what are they doing?
And I thought he was a highly touted shortstop. he went in there and kind of gave the Yankees fits, stealing bases, running around,
Yeah.
playing that short. I remember the announcers saying the Red Sox shortstop of the future, Jeter Downs, and when I saw the move of letting Bogarts go, I thought, okay, they'll be there, and they really all their eggs are in Jeter Downs, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, he gets released. They're like, what the hell? Hey, more, who cares? We want to beat the Red Sox, but we kind of like them to have be competitive though, so we could,
Yeah.
when we beat their rear ends, it feels good.
Yeah.
So Texas, I just want to put this out there, but Texas made a great point. Hold your players close, but hold your pitchers closer. And he's got a point.
Yeah, that's why I think with the signing of Rodon, just to circle everything back, was such a big deal. Why we had to get a player to that caliber, because now if you're not able to move from Herman, or you feel like you don't want to move on from Herman, it gives you that starting depth that we have not had. We have not had a reliable backup plan at all. It also. That's less innings that we're going to need to rely on Schmidt, and he could just continue, figuring his pitching out.
The Yankees are 7 pitchers deep, and there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
Nothing wrong with
You're
that at all.
gonna need every one of those arms. Guys miss a start. You're gonna skip a start. How is Nestor Cortez gonna bounce back? This is the most innings he pitched last season. How is he gonna affect him? I don't think it's not gonna affect him, but you gotta have that emergency plans. Good organization put those tiers or those backup plans just in case. And I think if we keep Schmidt and Herman, barring a trade, if they want to, they're going to be okay. They have options. Clark Schmidt has options to go down and so forth. And Mariancio has options, so they could play with that with the rosters up and down or injuries. And that, hey, that's nothing wrong with that. And if that's a smart move, that's baseball move. That's what makes winning organizations with those kind of moves. That's what you get paid for, Cashman. That's what we want you to do. We don't want you to construct lineups and tell the manager how to manage, but manage the rosters of moves. I think will work better. And I think if he does that, I think they could go. That's the collaboration we're looking for, not the
Absolutely.
collaboration of who plays when and how many innings and when to take guys out, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's
Agreed.
also what made man up season. That's that much more special, because we had the depth where we might not have seen it, to the average fan, not like us lunatics that so deep dive into it, where we already had an idea of who was going to be the backup to the backup to the backup, so we were able. That's what made us, especially as content creators, really enjoy the next man up, because there was like, oh, okay, trying to get this. Let's see what this guy's got. We've been hearing about this guy and that guy. The Yankees. It seems like their depth is back to that.
Yes.
I seen on Twitter somebody put this. The last time we had a rotation like this on paper was in 1942. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's a little bit out there, but we did have. This is a rotation when you had David Cone, David Wells, Orlando Hernandez, Andy Pettit. So I could put those horses against any of the Yankees, up starting pitching, and I go to town with those guys any day with Mariano Rivera. So me,
You take a look at the 96 Yankees, Kev, also with Pettit, Key, Cone, Wells, guys like that. I'd put that rotation up against any, rotation that we've had in a while.
I think because stat wise, like ERA wise, in 1942, because they put the ERA next to the player, and I think 1 through 4 was under 2, and I think the last dude was a 3, which that's crazy to say.
I believe that young man in the Twitter has a lot of time on his hands to do those numbers.
Yeah.
There are a few people on Twitter that have a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah.
But
don't.
I'm out of time. But I do want to thank you.
I want to throw a name out there, Tats, to keep an eye on. Don't forget about Debbie Garcia. Remember, this is his final year. If they got to protect him on the 40-man, I think he's gonna have a big impact coming out of the bullpen. And
No, I'm hearing a lot of people are on that same wavelength. That they're expecting him to really snap back and be that prospect that we didn't want to trade.
I believe
Absolutely.
so too.
But unfortunately, Mazda, thank you for having me on, Chris. I'll see you in the chats.
The
Pleasure meeting you.
Great
Pat,
chat.
you're always welcome on anytime. Your open door policy, you're more than welcome to come on anytime you want. Just let me know.
All right. Enjoy your weekend, guys.
And
All right,
likewise.
Tex.
Enjoy your weekend. Happy
Happy
holidays, bud.
holidays.
All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap this up.
That's
Just
cool.
quick throw around to Chris and Kev. What do you think? Or actually, before we do that and get to that, Jason brought up an interesting point. Outside of the box idea, Eloy Jimenez for outfield and Aaron Bummer for the bullpen. I like that idea. I like that idea.
I ain't think about that in Chicago.
I like that idea, and I'll tell you why. Eloy Jimenez, now that they have Robert and Benintendi, they may not have room for him. So that might be something to look at. And Aaron Bummer would benefit from having more pieces around him. So I like that. That's ballsy, and I like it. And the White Sox got their left fielder. So I like that a lot. And you can slide he's young. He's got controllable years. You can slide him in to that, 3, 4, 5 hole, take some of that pressure off of Stanton and Judge. Jason, that's good. I like that, bud. That's good. I didn't think about that. What do you guys think?
He's okay.
Jimenez will make sense. I don't know if they have room for Bummer, especially with all the bullpen arms that they have. But if they could fit him in, all for it. Depending, maybe they could fit him in depending on how controllable is Jimenez. Depending, how long. If he's, I think the Yankees, if they're gonna make a trade for a left fielder, they want something team controlable. In my opinion,
I'll tell you if you give me a second. I'll let you know
Sure.
how.
And I wanted to make Dave. You mentioned David Wells in the '96 team. He was not. It was Sterling Hitchcock. So
That's
Sterling
who it was.
Hitchcock who was on that.
My
On that
apologies. You are correct.
if I'm not mistaken, it was Hitchcock. Yeah.
All right. So he is signed through 24 with a team option for 25 and 26.
Boy, that's going to cost a
So
lot.
he's not a free agent until 25 for Jimenez.
Jimenez has 3 more seasons. Bummer has 5. That's going to cost a lot of prospects, though. But hey,
Bummer is a free agent in 25 as well.
Okay, all right. That's controllable. That's the kind of moves Cashman does. Those long-term team controllable moves. That wouldn't be past me at all if Cashman explored that route.
So, Jason, that's a very, very, very ballsy but good move. I like that a lot. And I think if I'm Cashman, that's one move I'm exploring. Especially if you can't get Brian Reynolds and David Bednar, that would be a route I would be more than happy to explore. That is that's good. But what do you think about it, Chris?
Will the White Sox want middle infielders? Because they have was it Mohaga? Makata. They have them at short.
Who's their second baseman?
I know Tim Anderson.
No, Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson is.
Tim Anderson's a shortstop.
Yeah, it all depends out there what they're thinking about our prospects. But if the trade is willing to be moved, maybe that sounds like a 3-team blockbuster type of move.
Yeah,
you got to get a 3-team who wants a shortstop who likes our Yankee prospects, and that someone that the White Sox like, that they need in the strength of need, where you could engage them to send something good for the White Sox so they could get win-win, and we get our left fielder and we get that bullpen arm. It looks like that's something that's what this time of this period now. Most of the free agents are off the boards. Now it's winding down. It's going to be now the wheeling and dealing of the trading until we'll say the Caribbean World Series, to be honest with you. Before spring training, that's when all the wheeling and dealing comes. So because guys want to set their rosters, and before they get into arbitration, they want to be able to who they want to move, and that's where the wheeling and dealing comes in. And I won't be surprised that that's something, that's a blockbuster. That's like a whoa kind of moment.
They also need pitching too, and Jason's right. That team is hurting for pitching right now. So that would be something you could, dip into the pitching prospects, be like, hey, we'll give you, a Will Warren or a Herman or a David Garcia, and they might buy into it. So I like that.
But don't forget, Luis Hill started part of the organization. I know he's coming back from Tommy John, but what he showed us prior to that, he really showed us some moxie. He looked like a major league pitcher. Now we don't know if he's a number 2, 3, 4, or 5 starter, but he was showed us he was a serviceable pitcher when he came up. Unfortunately, he's coming back from that arm injury, but still, he's still a name out there that was highly touted, that showed something in the major league level. So Yankees got like I said, when Rodon, they added into their strength. Now their strength is pitching, which when was the last time we could say the Yankees had strength? Their strength was pitching for a while. It's been a while, which is refreshing.
Yep. So we're gonna wrap this up, guys. I just want to thank Tats for coming on. That was awesome for him to jump on, spend time with us today. I'd like to thank BX Sports Jedi Kev down on the watch along. And
Thank
Chris
you so
the Flash
much
for coming on today. Thank both of y'all for coming on. As I told Tats, it's an open door policy for you, Jason, Hector. You guys are awesome. I thank you guys so much for coming on. If you guys have not subscribed, liked, and hit that bell icon button for Tats at Pinstripe Chronicles, BX Sports Jedi Kev, Chris the Flash, or Jason at 161 River Ave, please do so. It is greatly appreciated for their channels. It helps them out immensely, and they all have outstanding content. It's accurate. They'll always put something out if something breaks, so please be sure to do that, as well as myself. I'm your boy, the 4 Train Express. Thank you all for coming all aboard, and we will see y'all next time. Have a great night. Happy holidays. Be safe, and have a safe and prosperous new year.